up, good people? As of April 8th, I'm strongly urging the other local supermarkets in upstate New York, like Wegmans, Sam's Club, Price Chopper, please, I urge you, please do not follow suit of the craziness that Walmart claims to be doing. Because I'm truly not surprised that Walmart has tried to limit customers like people are getting on a damn carousel ride. You know, Walmart is just a FEMA camp just waiting to happen. Anyway, just all them damn flags in there. It's a government operation, and Walmart is the last place that you would think that would try to do something like this, but instead they're first because they're government connected strongly. Just go in there and look at the flags everywhere. It's a FEMA camp waiting to happen. That's why they changed the floors. So if we did get locked up in there, we can't rip up those tile floors. They made the floors look like a prison floor so that they can move those shelves very easily out the way. It's been proven. You can go search it up on YouTube. It's been proven that they emptied out Walmart less than a day completely in some places. Please, I'm urging the other supermarkets in the upstate New York area, please don't follow this suit. We're letting people in one by one like it's a freaking haunted house or amusement park. Please, stay woke. Bill Gates, guy who created Microsoft, is the leading spokesman for this so-called virus. Yet he's spoken into existence a few years ago. Like it was something that he spoke it into existence like it was a cloud coming over your house. So accurately. Donald Trump calls it bull. Guns get drawn at him. Oh, he's, you know what I mean? He's already, a knucklehead, but now he's the worst. But you have Bill Gates speaking for us how to survive. Bill Gates. Really. That's like you being told something's going to happen and it happens exactly the way someone said at a speech. Like a tsunami is going to come. Imagine someone telling you a tsunami is going to come and you pay tickets to go see this person on stage. They're telling you that a tsunami is going to come and how high it's going to be and which part of town it's going to hit first, because the way that the waves will come in is, it's going to come in on the east stronger, and it's some houses are going to stay up, some tall buildings are going to stay up, some places are not even going to get affected, and it's going to go at least 4 miles. It's not going to go no more than 4 miles and then recede back out to the ocean. So if you live 4 miles out, you're safe. And a tsunami happens exactly like that. Y'all watching too much fucking TV, man. You gotta do your research.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. You know, it's so important to get not just hundreds of millions, but literally billions of those vaccines, because this is a global problem. And although the US has got the most cases right now, as time goes on, the developing countries where isolation is more difficult and the health system is very weak, sadly, they're most likely to experience the most pain of all as this goes global. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. That only happens after the numbers have peaked and are going down a lot and getting down to an absolute level. You know, there are some good things happening. The work on a vaccine, although that probably will take 18 months, that's going full speed ahead. Our foundation is funding that. We're looking at getting vaccines to everyone in the world. So in the long run, that we're looking at getting vaccines to everyone in the world. So in the long run, that we're looking at getting vaccines to everyone in the world. Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control. Sadly, you want to completely block off the ability for those people to go there and come back and move around. What does opening up look like? Which activities have, like schools, have such benefit and can be done in a way that the risk of transmission is very low?
Yeah.
And which activities, like mass gatherings, may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all. Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control, sadly,